Okay, you all have a good evening. Okay,
You
take
too,
care.
thank you.
Good night, Pablo.
You
Thank you.
too.
Good night. Good night.
Margaret, is
Pablo.
your hand up
Good night.
because you want to say something?
No, that was from before. No, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Nothing.
You'll
I
take me
just
down?
wanted to give you the chance if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, when I first came in, I was, anyway, I'm fine.
Uh-huh. Okay, good, 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 good.
Okay, honey.
Okay, oh, I can start. I'm recording and here we are. If someone doesn't know, my name is Sylvia Alexander. I'm the chair of the Education, Library and Cultural Affairs Committee. And welcome to the meeting. Meyer is taking attendance, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let me know when I have a quorum.
I think
1,
you have a
2,
quorum now.
3.
Seven.
I need 6.
3, 4, 5. Well, there's 6 of us at least.
We have 6. 1,
Yeah.
2,
I
3.
believe so. Actually, I count 7, although
Well,
I don't know if community members.
you're not on the committee.
Well, Judith is not part of the quorum.
Okay.
No.
Then yes, I think you have 6.
Okay, so then we could start.
Mhm.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the January 24th minutes.
Mhm.
Hope everybody has read them.
Mhm.
Any questions on them?
Nope.
No. So I will ask, is anyone against the passing the minutes? Any abstentions? They passed. Okay. I have a bunch of things. I'm not sure that I'm going to keep them in the order in which I wrote them, but please forgive me if I kind of go back and forth. We had a request for a speaker to come this evening from Pop-Up Forest Organization, which is a botanist who wanted to get involved with the schools in terms of wildflowers. But I got in touch with her today and she said that they weren't really ready. Their pilot program starts on March 21st and she wanted to wait until April so that she had more to repeat, to share. So it sounds interesting, but I'm not sure exactly what she will be saying, but hopefully she'll come in April. I guess everybody in the neighborhood knows that St. Gabe's is merging with St. Margaret's, which is in North Riverdale. The parents are not happy with that, but the Archdiocese feels that it needs to be done. So that's one school. As far as the SCA is concerned and the new school on the visitation site, nothing has happened. They promised to have some plans by June and I'm holding them to it. We can't get them to come to any meetings before then, so I guess we'll just have to hold out. There is a school on West 231st Street, which is a high school, the International Charter School, which is doing extremely well. They have 100% graduation rate since they opened up, and they bought property on Tibbet Avenue to build a middle school. And it's right next to Tippett Towers and 2 other buildings, which I forget the names of. And Moses, do you have a question?
Yeah, I did hear this. Just a quick one on the St. Gabe's. Do you know if the Archdiocese will plan to end up selling the facility the same way they did with visitation? Do you think it'll end up being the same thing, same kind of dynamic there?
Right, yeah, right. They're playing very cagey. When it crept out that the parents were against closing the school, or merging the school, they told the office that called, Pablo called and wanted some information, and they didn't admit that they were doing it. The next day there was a press release. So that's the way they're running it. The church is supposed to be staying open, but how long they're going to be staying open, nobody knows.
Got it.
So I would say that, to me, it sounds like it's going to be a same situation like visitation.
Yeah.
But there's nothing we can do about it. So, it was a very good school. The kids did very, very well. They weren't only Catholic children, they were all kinds of children. And the ones that didn't want to go to public school. And
Right.
it was very, very well run. But, the Archdiocese does what they want to do. So it's a private school and they can do whatever they want. But you're right, you're on the right track, and I think that's going to happen eventually.
Yep.
What should I have next? In East Harlem, they did a whole protest, the parents, because there again, they closed some Catholic schools. And the children were on the computer, on newscasts, and they were crying because they had been there since kindergarten. So, and they love their teachers and they love, the school and everything like that. And they don't understand why it's being closed. So it's kind of sad, but they've done it all over the city. It's now, I think, 12 schools or something like that that have been closed. And the Archdiocese says they don't have money to stay open. So I don't know. I don't look into their pocketbooks. So that's that.
Madam Chair,
Um,
David has his hand up, by the way.
It's not urgent yet, so don't worry.
What, you want to
Well, a quick
say
question.
something, David?
Just a quick question. What grades were St. Gabriel? What grades is St. Margaret? Do you know?
It's basically the same. It's elementary.
So 1 through 6? Or 1 through 8?
I think K through 5.
No,
No, K through
Eight is
eight.
Gabriel.
Yeah, eight,
Yeah.
yeah, K through 8.
K through 8. Okay, thank you.
The charter schools have they were doing extremely well. They were very crowded. The Success Academy had opened up many buildings, or they went into public schools and used their facilities. And they are all claiming that they're losing students. Their numbers are going down. The public schools numbers are going down. The absenteeism last year was very, very high. And Cooney says that the incoming class in the first year of college, those children all need remedial work. Like 70% of the children need remedial work. So this
The
generation
public, the
is really
charter, or
not
both?
being, what?
The public, the charter, or both?
Well, I don't know where the Cooney children are coming from.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no way to know that, but I did read that their the situation is that they need remedial work. Years ago, many years ago, they had that and they had improved.
Right,
And I guess because of the pandemic, a lot of kids couldn't do the computer work at home. They just didn't do work, and the DOE didn't keep up with the children, so they fell through the cracks. And I think that is the response, that they're not up to par, which is very sad because it's not their fault. And although Bloomberg has again said that he's going to offer summer programs to bring the children up to par, but if the children don't want to go to the summer school, there's nothing that anybody can do. I mean, if the families aren't sending them and they personally don't want to go, and I can understand a child not wanting to give up their summer, then that's the result of it. The thing that bothers me is that they're graduating and they're lacking education. That's the sad part. I don't know if CUNY brings them up to par or how that works at that level, at the college level, but it's something to think about. So the chancellor has spoken about many times about bringing the phonics, and the mayor too, phonics back to education. It worked many years ago, and the mayor is a product of that too, and he had a problem. And look at him, he's a mayor. So he got fixed. And they talk about it and they talk about it, but I haven't heard a thing from the schools that it's being implemented. So I don't know. I mean, here we are in March, and I haven't heard anything about it. And they're still talking about it. So I don't think that it's put into place, which again, you lose a whole year with the children. So they started when they got into the positions they're in. So I don't know what they're waiting for, but I'm very negative on most of these people. So as far as education is concerned, because I don't think they do the job they're supposed to. And furthermore, they're talking about giving out Indigenous certificates to teachers to teach it in the public schools, which sounds very interesting. I don't know how far they've gotten. It was just a blurb, so I'm not sure. I'm going to try to find out a little bit more about it, but it is something to think about. And outside of that, somebody who is, I need help. Somebody who is good at the technology. T-Mobile is sending me emails constantly about trying to offer teachers and students, families, 5G service. And they are supposedly, I mean, I've watched videos and stuff. They give out free hotspots. The Chromebooks are given at their cost, not raised. I don't know if it's just a money-making thing, or does anybody know anything about that?
Sylvia, sorry, because I'm the host, I can't raise my hand.
Yeah, that's okay.
So yeah, so I know Sprint had a program like this for 3 years running, where I had my kids, not at my current school, but my previous school used to get these mobile hotspots from Sprint. But I know that
Also free?
it was free, yeah. It was part of like a school buy-in program where, you know, X amount of these devices were given to the school, and the school had the autonomy to distribute them. You know, and the students and parents had to sign a waiver saying like this will be used for educational purposes, so on and so forth.
Right.
And because I'm also a Sprint customer, I know recently T-Mobile bought out Sprint. So I
Oh,
can only assume, I'm only assuming that T-Mobile is continuing that program that was started under Sprint. But I can
Uh-huh.
happily sit down with you or, you know, go over with you and see if it's actually the same program or not.
Right. I'm just wondering if teachers are availing themselves of this, or is this a money-making thing for T-Mobile? Because if they sell enough Chrome, you know, devices, they're making money. So,
Yeah, in the past, it was only for students. Like I know I get a teacher discount on my phone bill, but we never got like the actual, you know, what do you call them? The mobile modems. Um, but I can definitely work it out with you and see if it's actually like something that, you know, is about the original plan of intent versus now.
yeah, I'm not sure that I'm the one to introduce it to the teachers. I mean, teachers should probably know about it, right?
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything from T-Mobile about it
Uh-huh.
yet. And yeah, I checked my
I don't
email.
know if I'm coming in from the right end, if it, you know, for educators, or if it's, it also says parents. I just don't know. It sounds too good to be true. And usually when that happens, you have to be a little bit cautious. So that's what I am. But I'll talk to you offline about it.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
And oh, Sylvia, one more question. I had
yeah,
another question. So the Indigenous certificate is actually it's being offered by the New York State Education Department, which is like, so I have a license that is special education and social studies. So I have two licenses. This will be another certificate program, like a license, to be
right.
able to teach
To
this
teach
type
it,
of,
right,
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand. Yeah,
yeah.
no, that part I understood. I just thought it was a very interesting new, they had said that, I had read something a few years ago, where they were doing something with civics, the same way that they were going to give a certificate. I don't know if they ever did that. Did they?
Yeah, I actually have that certificate.
Uh,
It's to be able to do civic readiness to like um lead a class for kids to get it's another seal on their diploma, like the civic readiness seal. They can get that for CTE, you can get it for civic readiness, you can get it for foreign language or like biliteracy. There's other seals as well that you can get added to your diploma. So this will just be another addition, like another seal.
Interesting, interesting. I'm glad you're on here, Ramdat. It's full of good information. I think that pretty much does what I've researched. I'm just checking to see if I left something out. I don't think so. Um, I guess that really encompasses my chairperson's report also, so that we can go right down to discussing the budget. The letters to the principals have been sent. Unfortunately, I had given them 2 weeks to respond. I only got one valid one from one of the schools at JFK. I called 24 today, and they sent me something. I think I have to speak to every principal we've sent a reminder today, giving them the date of the 10th to respond. And I don't know how that's going to work out, if it's going to be any better or not. I'm a little afraid that because OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, that gives out money for infrastructure and such, doesn't give education anything. Our items that are on the list on the budget are usually picked up, if we're lucky, by the councilman or the assemblyman. And last year, when Eric got into his position, he did a tremendous amount of good things that I had on my list for several years. He took care of them. So I need to get a few more items that I can put on the budget, and hopefully by the 10th I'll have some, so that in March I should have something more than I have today. And that's basically what it is. That doesn't make David happy, because he wanted it almost completed by now, but there's nothing I can do about that. I'll continue to call the principals and do the best I can to get a response. Okay, David?
You can lead those principal horses to water, but you can't make them drink.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you for understanding.
Oh, no, I've always. You
Yeah,
can only do what you can do. You're not their
Yeah.
boss.
right. And unfortunately, as I've explained a couple of times already, that we can't really pick things for the schools, because they have their own idea as to what the schools and the children need. So therefore, I have to use the principals as the source. So I'm going to start making more calls tomorrow. And does anybody have any questions about that?
Madam
Yes,
Chair,
Sebastian.
Sebastian's. Yeah.
Yes,
Hi, thank you. We only budget for the schools. We don't do it for the libraries or for any other cultural activities.
no, we do it for the libraries and cultural affairs also. Usually we get something from the New York Public Library that we are able to put down also. Each year we solicit for 6-day service, which we usually get. And librarians, Rebecca is here and Peter is here. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, we're actually in the middle of our budget action season right now. This is Rebecca Brown Barbier, the librarian
Yes,
from the Riverdale branch. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
good.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll
I'm
actually.
glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here too. I'm sorry I missed last month's meeting. I was ill.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
much better now. I'm so happy to
Good.
be. I actually have. Did anyone from our government relations department send you a?
No, nothing. I understood it was coming, but I haven't seen anything yet.
I'll see if I can get something in writing tomorrow, but I can go over a few of our general talking points. Peter, Aga, are you okay? If I speak for all of us, or?
That's fine.
Okay, excellent. Peter Pamfield from Van Cortlandt Library is here, and Aga
From
from.
Brighton Dival. Yeah,
Yeah. So basically, the long and short is that we're facing a massive budget cut for fiscal year 2024. The proposed expense reduction from City Council is $15.7 million for the 3 library systems, the Tri-Li. So that means Queens, Brooklyn, and New York Public, which is the Bronx, the Staten Island, and Manhattan. The mayor, 20,000 total. The total on the budget cuts that we're facing for the 3 library systems is $36.2 million, which is a lot for the library. How we'll manage, we will have to close those vacancies that we have right now. And it might mean fewer hours and fewer programs and fewer days that we're open and fewer locations open. I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, our biggest cost is our human capital. You know, those are our librarians that go out and they do the class visits. A good example is 2 weeks ago, I had my 2 adult librarians go to Manhattan College. They signed up 125 students. That means, you know, from the college age group for library cards. And they got them those free resources that are so important. So, you know, we're all going to the schools, we're out there, we're supporting everything that the Education Library Committee is supporting. We're supporting the schools. Students come to us and they get their books, they get their electronic databases so that they can read their books online. We've, you know, within the last few years, we had a big push for after school and early childhood programming. I know I can speak for my library. We do early childhood programs on Wednesday and Friday. This past Friday, we had 25 25 toddlers and their parents in the library for early childhood development class, which includes those preschool ready skills that are so important. I know Aga, at your library, they say that your early childhood programs are a lot busier than ours. So there's a demand and there's a need. And when you start children off and you support their families with the early literacy, that's when we make the difference. That's when they get ready for CUNY. And then the after school programs like Kingsbridge has free tutoring after school. And the tutoring is taught by not only teenagers, but professional tutors. So, you know,
Rebecca,
what we're doing is important.
Rebecca,
Yes.
if I could just jump in really quickly too, with the cuts, you know, like my branch right now is a college and career pathway branch, which is helping teens as they move into that next phase of life, as I've talked about at a few meetings. We're also a team center. Team centers are branches that receive funding that allows us to do even more with our teams in terms of technology and technology programming. Now, some of that is stuff that's been donated to us, but it's also coming from the city. Like the city is really invested in teens. And if these cuts were to happen, you know, we're trying to regain population in the library. We've lost a lot of people because of the pandemic, and we're just starting to see some positive trends. We don't want to lose hours, lose programming that attracts people, and then have our branches not be used to their full capability. We are, you know, like all job sectors, the library has a lot of staffing issues right now. We're hiring as fast as we can, but if we lose funding, most of our funding goes towards staff. We're not going to, not only are we not going to be able to hire, we're not going to be able to create new positions. And that would be a domino effect of not being open as much because we don't have enough staff to, you know, work with our operating hours. So it's really important that we make the city understand and advocate for our hours and our budget to not be cut.
Do you think that that is realistic, that they're cutting that much, or is it something where they're throwing that out and it won't be as bad? I mean, it's hard for you to judge, but
Exactly.
Right.
We don't
Eric
have any
Adams
kind
is
of,
new. Yeah.
he's
it's a
exactly.
scary thought.
And Mayor de Blasio was a big advocate for libraries. We don't really know where Mayor Adams falls. I know that he cares about young people. I know that from what I've seen in his visits to libraries and things like that, it's important. But he's also a tough guy, you know, like he's really into making sure this budget is at a level that's sustainable. So I can't say that one way or another what I think he's going to do.
Right.
I think that he's getting a rotten deal because of the migrant children. The federal government is not giving us anything for New York City. Our money is going toward, not that I begrudge them, but it's going elsewhere. The thing that comes to my mind is the Spuyten Duyvil Library was supposed to have major infrastructure done. It sounds to me like that's never going to happen. Do you know anything about that, Aga?
No, there is no plan as far as I know. And since I just took over as a manager, a few months ago, we've had multiple managers before that.
Yes, I know.
Tim Tureski was our long-term manager, then he left, and then we had, two other, Rebecca was temporary.
We had
manager.
Rebecca.
Only
Yeah,
temporary. I was only keeping the seat warm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yes, a lot has changed, but no improvements as far as I know, and not much on the horizon to update you. So still short-staffed and lacking plenty of, updates to the building. The neighborhood is growing, but the branch isn't growing.
Yes, yes.
yeah.
And we
Yeah.
support all age levels. Like my young adult librarian is going with Aga's information assistant tomorrow to RKA, and they're going to sign up students during their lunch for library
Right.
card.
Yeah, and they're gonna see all grades tomorrow. So 3 middle grades and 4 high school grades tomorrow, all through. Yeah, so
It's so
no, we
important.
work a lot with very limited resources, and like luckily, at least for Spuyten Duyvil, we only like 5 people staff in a very, very busy branch. We get a lot of support from the community, and we
Right.
what we are without the community support. But we are very busy branch, and luckily we all very devoted, and we do our best, but it is tough without extra help. So
Right.
we collaborate a lot, like Rebecca said, we do collaborate to make things easier.
To throw in a little brightness into a gloomy subject, we have Spider-Man cards back. So if anybody wants to get a special edition Spider-Man card, please come into any of our branches. You can get one for free. You only need your ID if you're an adult. If you're a child, you don't need any ID. My branch is going to have some movie nights again on Tuesdays at 4:00. We're going to we have a team art hour that's really fun. Our new YA specialist Izzy, she's working with the kids on fun crafts, usually that focus on the theme of the month. Like last month was Black History Month. This month is Women's History, so women's empowerment is the theme for the art hour. We have our college and career pathway programming, as I've talked to you guys multiple times about, going on. That's usually on Mondays, sometimes on Wednesdays. We just run the full gamut. We have all of our adult learning programs for people who need help with computers. That's like, I think if I remember correctly, that's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're working with the Jasper Senior Center on Sedgwick. I have a staff member who goes out. His name is Joel. He goes out and he teaches computer classes there now every Monday. So if you know any seniors that need any help and they can make it there, he'll help them there if they can't make it always at the library. So all of our branches are in our communities. We're working hard to show our communities how much we care and how much we want to enrich them. And we just want to make sure that the city knows that, so that we can continue to get staff for our branches.
Well, it really is a shocking thing that they would cut so much, because all 5 branches here in the Bronx, you're all doing a great job with the community, and they responded well, and you have introduced so many programs that it's amazing. Which each branch is a little different, but still the same. And you reach out to the schools, and I mean, there's so much that it's going on. I hate to think that, a lot of that stuff is going to be cut out because of the lack of money. It's just shocking. It really is.
Yes, I would hate to reduce any of our programs, because, and sometimes we have to make those forced choices, which is difficult. What programs do we cut?
Exactly.
And they're all needed.
Yeah.
You're speaking about asylum seekers. I was just on the phone with our outreach department today, and we're thinking about having an information agency program for asylum seekers in April. Or
Mhm.
also, Riverdale Civics Group contacted me last week. They want me to do something on June 11th for summer reading, which is so important. So we get those kids not to do the summer slot, not to lose their learning during the summer. So it's hard, Sylvia.
It is hard to make the selections to try to trim it down because it took a long time for all the programs to be in place. And a lot of it is very creative and very helpful to the community and to the children. And it's a terrible thing to think that that's going to disappear, especially being that the hours might be cut. And we fought for many years to get the 6th day open. And, now who knows what it's going to be. But I will definitely put into my budget again because they can only turn me down. So I certainly will try. But if you can get anything from downtown, I mean, under these conditions, maybe they don't have anything that they want, knowing that it's not going to happen. I don't know how their thinking is, but whatever you can get for me so that I can put it together. I'll need it by April, for sure. He's shaking his head. David, your hand is up.
Yes, couple things. Just a reminder, obviously we are in the middle of fiscal year 23. We got I believe the cuts you're referring to are about 23, but moreover upcoming for fiscal year 24, starting July 1st, going through next June 30th. And they are painful, and I'm not trying to minimize them, but the comments have been made. And then Sylvia, I think you gave some comments to Laura to include in our letter in response to OMB and the mayor's office last week. And you may want to pursue with Eric and other electeds about trying to figure out a way to get things restored right now in fiscal 24. However, the things that really should be discussed here tonight, if I can recommend, is about fiscal 25. Ideas, things that you would really like to see, that I'd like to start the XYZ program at this library. I'd like to start this or before school, after school program at that intermediate school, or that you'd like to see such and such a program occur at Wave Hill or what have you. These are things I would encourage you to, just dream up and discuss amongst yourselves. But please try to get them to Sylvia this month in March. So this coming month, so that you guys in your March meeting can do a preliminary prioritization of all of them from education, libraries, and cultural affairs. And then you guys can think about it a little more, and then in April, vote on the priorities. But I encourage you to think about fiscal year 25 and come back to, and discuss it now, frankly, and then come back to Sylvia with, some sort of prioritized list in March.
Well, the thing that is very difficult for, I would say, the librarians is to jump to 25 when you don't know what 23 is going to bring, or 24. You cannot support new programs when you know that the old programs are not going to be there. So it is a very difficult thing to do.
Agreed.
I don't know that the librarians can come up with a dream budget, which might never happen. I don't speak for them. They can speak for themselves, but I understand the bind that they are in. And I don't think it's as easy as you make it sound.
Oh, no,
As
no,
far
I'm not,
as
I'm not trying to
25 is
suggest it's
concerned.
easy. I'm not trying to minimize the pain at all. I'm just trying to suggest that try to think of what you'd like and work toward that. I know that last week, Ms. Yudos, I think it was, who was talking about, advocating for maintaining 6-day service and things like
Well, I'll
that.
continue to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just suggesting that this is a time for creativity because you are thinking 15 months from now. And in the interim, fighting, to get the electeds to restore cuts in the current fiscal year and in the July 1 fiscal year. But here, this is more of a planning concept, and it may never happen. But I think it's healthy for the librarians, for the teachers, and the members of this committee to think about, oh, we ought to try to do such and such. That's all.
Okay, I would leave it up to the librarians because they are fighting for this situation every day of the year. And they know their limits, and I respect them for their input, and we'll see what develops. You'll keep me informed, right, Peter and Rebecca and Aga? And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, we're
Okay.
going to reach out to our government relations department and see if they have something ready for you, hopefully within the next week or two. And we'll all just reach out and let them know that you guys really need something from them.
Yeah, I would encourage you to do so in the next 2 weeks so you can get back to Sylvia as she compiles her list for the upcoming fiscal year.
Having worked for a councilwoman for 17 years in my past, I know that when all of this comes to the council, as far as budgets are concerned, things change a little bit. The mayor doesn't always get what he wants. This mayor or any other mayor, and I hope that they'll whittle it down so that the pain is not as bad as it sounds. But that won't happen till June. So being we have to have it ready in April, it makes it very hard because we don't know what is going to happen in June. Not only do we not know that, but we don't know what's going to happen in 24, and we're already advocating for 25. So logistically, it's a very difficult thing as far as the particular library situation is concerned. Maybe other agencies have an ongoing situation where they can project, but I don't think that the libraries can do that any more than they're doing already.
But budgeting is always a fair amount of guessing and hoping, and that's all you can do is guess and hope.
Well, I'm going to leave it up to the librarians, guys. I'm on your side. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your reports. And is there any old business or new business that anyone wants to bring up? As far as the mitzvah project, Myra. Sebastian, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I will ask that after Myra's question.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, I mean, you were probably on the email as well. So regarding the mitzvah project that Roger Grunwald is running, the last I heard, which was, I think he emailed me last month, that he needed to get back into conversation with Mr. Simon from where?
368. Yeah. Okay,
Okay, so that's, I also just want to say, this is my penultimate meeting.
I know that,
I'm-
and I was,
And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. I'm sorry to lose you, Myra.
Well,
I wish you lots of luck at whatever you're going to be doing instead of coming here, but
Well, the thing is, I'm not seeking reappointment onto the board, onto the community board. But I would actually enjoy being in these meetings as a representative of the Riverdale Art Association,
oh,
the
please.
Riverdale Choral Society. Because I think that we are part of the arts community and the
Absolutely.
cultural affairs part of the community, so I would like to be able to represent them. And just a final word for the Art Association, especially, I think that we need to interface with the libraries to see if we can get some space to show our art and have a show. We
Oh.
have shows at Christ Church now and Ethical Culture. And I think we have one planned at the Riverdale Temple. So we're busy, but we would like to be able to show more and to actually increase our reach to younger people.
Uh-huh, great. Oh, I'm glad. So you're gonna be
I'm-
here. You're
Yes.
not leaving.
I'm not
We're not
going
letting
anywhere.
you leave.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Great, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Sebastian?
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to come back to the San Gabriel discussion we had earlier today. What can we do as a committee and as a community board to show our objection to the way this was handled? It affects many families in this community board and many students. They have to change their school or merge with a different school.
Mm.
Do we
You
have?
mean the St. Gabe's?
Yes.
Uh-huh. We can't do anything. It's out of our hands. It's a private school. It's the Archdiocese. We are not in control of them. We deal mostly with the public schools because we have the Department of Education we can go to. There's nothing that we can do really for the Catholic schools. And in this situation, at least the second school that children will need to go to is only a few blocks away. It's not much of a trip, additional trip. And St. Margaret's is a very good school also.
Yeah. Can I say?
And
something? I'm
yeah.
sorry. St. Margaret's is up in North Riverdale.
Mhm.
And St. Gabriel's is in Central Riverdale. It's not there. I don't think they're that close.
About
I
a
mean, they're
mile
not close
apart.
at all. It's,
Well, it is a little trip, but it's
Mhm.
still in the same area, basically, and still in Riverdale. It's not a situation where you have to pick up and move,
mhm.
you know, that you're really out of the area. I wouldn't want to go through it, but if it can't be helped, then you got to accept it. There have been other schools that have been merged also. St. John's
Mhm.
was merged with Visitation. The children had to go somewhere. That's where they went. And in each situation, the parents are and the students are affected that way because they're not next to each other a block away. So, you know, there's nothing you can do.
Thank you.
We as an education committee can't do anything. The community board, we can't do anything. There have been letters sent to the Archdiocese, but as I say, they lied to us at the beginning, where one day difference, they didn't admit it, and then the next day a press release was put out. So, you know, they certainly don't care what we think. David,
Yes, two things. One, Sebastian, I would note, Sylvia is absolutely right. There's nothing we can do as a community board regarding the closing of a school on private property, part of a church. However, I do know there does exist a petitioning campaign, nothing to do with the community board, but I think the families, the parents, and I've seen signs. Even today, I was over by there. And so you and your friends and family may want to explore that. One question for you, Myra, do you have anything to do with this photography exhibit that's going to be at the Derfner? At the Hebrew Home?
We are actually our next art association meeting. We are having a Zoom tour of the Derfner.
Okay. I mention it because this new exhibit, Sylvia, I got a postcard. Missing Generations, photographs by Jill Friedman, will be at the Derfner at the Hebrew Home from March 19th to July 16th. And there'll be a reception and a curator's talk on Sunday, March 19th at 1:30. So that's just a cultural activity you might want to note.
Right.
okay, before the pandemic, we used to go there once a year when Marvin was the chair of the Cultural Affairs Committee.
Mhm.
And it was never really well attended by the committee. The committee was very small anyway. They were very gracious to have us, and it was interesting, but here we are on Zoom, so that's not possible right now.
No. I'm just trying to let you know that there is
Yeah, no, I
wine and
appreciate
cheese
that.
reception as a cultural activity for people to attend on
Yeah,
their own.
thank you. Mhm. Thanks.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just once again can't raise my hand. Just want to flag one thing as well. Similar to the library's budget, the school's budget also were cut significantly last year. And I know at RK we are still trying to figure out what we need, because there is an additional mayoral cut to the New York City Department of Education, unfortunately, being proposed. So like we don't know what, from RK's standpoint, I can't speak for the other schools, is we're trying to figure out how much significant budget cut we will get for the next school year as well, and trying to figure out what else do we need. So you may be running into the same issue from other schools, and that's why you probably haven't heard from them yet.
Okay.
The librarians want to address that at all? No. Okay, thank you, Ramrod. I want just to, I didn't say something that I did want to say as far as the charter schools are concerned. They are trying, the governor is trying to increase the number of schools. And judging from the fact that they're losing students, that doesn't really make sense. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. We're just sitting ducks, and they're out there making the plans, and we just hear about it after the fact. So it's very hard to respond to any of this, in as much as we are not in the field. We are not, we're just advisory. We don't have any teeth to really get anything done. The only thing we can do is to try to push the budget priorities. That seems to be the only thing that we have on our table that we can actually do. And writing letters to people, they all end up in the round file. You don't even get responses. So we'll just have to limp along, and we'll have to see where it goes. I'm afraid. I have finished my presentation. And is there anyone that wants to bring up anything new or old or far-fetched or whatever?
There's no
We're joined
hands.
by a younger person. Nice. Okay, so I guess that I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Anyone opposed? Yeah, okay, thank you for attending and we'll see you next month.
Thank you,
Stay
Sylvia.
well.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night,
And
everyone.
thank you, Ramdat.
Of course, anytime.